that's out there, you're hearing a lot about AI, a lot about CDPs, a lot about those fun things. So the one thing and anyone that knows me, and if you're new to the show or have heard me speak at all, is I'm going to repeat this over and over and over again. And it is work backwards to work forward. Please, 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 please. Because there's so much information out there, whether that be for the chat GPTs of the world or the AIs of the world. I literally signed in a day to chat GPT and something to change. It's constantly changing. Microsoft this morning announced that they're opening their platform. So yesterday I was listening to something that the inventor of AI, more or less, that he just was like, hey, AI can, if we don't start thinking about this now, there's a possibility it can kill humans. I mean, he's like, not saying it's going to, but because it can reprogram. And I'm all for AI, I'm all for that, but just slow down and think, okay, how are we going to use this? Gary, I know, Gary, you posted something yesterday about just, once again, look at the privacy behind it. Look at the fine print of it. Jared Kilway, you posted something about AI that I know you and I talk about this all the time. It's phenomenal. It's great, but how are you using it? How are you going to implement it? Knowing what type it is, how it's being integrated, what you own, what you don't own, what is the legal ramifications, what version are you using? All these different things go into it.
Do you find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle of trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the United States or other places. How is everyone doing? Welcome into Facts, Not Feelings. It is Friday. We've made it. And everyone that is coming back from Florida, I hope you made it in safely. Talking to a lot, myself included, I think a lot of us had a little bit of flight disruption. So hopefully you made it. And also let me know, and be like Nathaniel, BZ's the best. Oh, thank you, Larry. Thank you for the shout out. And let me know if I'm coming through, like literally this is the joys of going live, everyone. As I'm going live, I hit my microphone and the gain either went up or down and I can't look over because I'm literally going live. So if I'm not coming through too clearly, drop it in the notes. Let me know. It's time for Facts, Not Feelings Friday. Yes, this is very, very true. It is. So definitely let me know if I'm not coming through clearly, or if it's like, Brooke, you're incredibly loud. Maybe back away from your microphone. Then I can just do a quick one of these, and we'll just come back a little bit. So just let me know. With that, we're gonna definitely kick it off. And Friday is pizza day, the best day. Hey, we were literally discussing this morning. We go, hey. It's been a, I've been gone. I got back really late on Thursday night. So it's definitely Pizza House in our household as well. So as you can see, it's just me, your host, Brooke Furniss, by myself here today. We're flying solo, but that's okay. So with it being solo today, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today. And based on the title up here, we've got The Power of Unity, Reflection of Digital Dealer Tampa 2023. And Larry, thank you. You're fine. Just a little hot on the mic. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to come back. Thank you for that. So that means that the gain is up really, really strong. So thank you very much for that, Larry. And we've got gain is a little hot. Looks like 9-inch with the best hit since. How is it right now? Is that better? I'm going to turn this down. In fact, I can't see, so I don't want to like keep going back and forth. So I'm not going to come back right about there. How's that? Hopefully it's a little bit better now. So we'll go with that. We're going to have the lights will be a little off, but hopefully that's a little bit better. And no joke, literally I hit go live and I hit this and it goes, whee! So we'll deal with that on the post-production as well and get this back to where it needs to be. So thank you so much for the live. This is the joys of comments right here. So, and it looks like we're good now. Awesome. Yes. Thank you, everyone. I super appreciate it. So, and this like literally goes right into what I'm talking about. So as we dive into digital dealer and just there's so many conferences going on right now, but I do want to focus on some of them, but also where we just came off a digital dealer here is that I just honestly couldn't help but just kind of be in awe of how all the different people from all different backgrounds came together to really unite in a common goal, especially as I looked at our panel in particular. And I don't want it to be, oh, let's look at just Brooke and her panel. No, it was one of the things I love so much about going to these conferences is to see all that. And if you're new to the show, at the end of every show, when I bring on my guests, we go through the lightning round, and I always have one question in particular I make sure I ask. Depending on time, there'll be different questions that I ask, but I always ask one question in particular. And that question I ask is, what's the thing you love most about the auto industry? Every single time. And overwhelming, the answer I get is it's the people. It's the people. So before I go any further, as we do this about every week now, we've started this tradition probably 2 months ago, I want to say that, hey, there's someone out there that needs to hear this message. And whether you went to Digital Dealer, maybe you missed out on it, maybe you're out of town, let someone know. Tag them, share it. As we've had some great comments already helping me out to say, Brooke, hey, you're a little hot the mic. Back up. Let them know, and we'll get this going, and we'll choose a winner next week. But as I went through and as I asked this question every week, and not all the time, but it's about 90%-ish, if not more, of my guests saying, hey, it's the people that make our industry so awesome. And that is exactly what we saw with not only Digital Dealer, but we've had so many other conferences going on, whether it was the Kane event, whether it was Digital Dealer, whether it was, I was recently, about a month ago, I was at a Spectrum inaugural event with Tara Rigo and her incredible crew, whether it's NIDA coming out, whether it's Women in Automotive, whether it's DMSC, whether it's, there's just so many conferences coming up. And it's, you go back and forth and just say, what is it? And the content, sometimes the content might not be as great as you're anticipating, but at the end of the day, what makes it successful? And there's so much planning that goes involved and everything in between. So I kind of want to hit on a couple of things here. And Brian, you're right. Exactly. It's hello. First off, hello, Brian. And John, good to see you as well. Thank you, John. Good to see you. And we go back and look at all this and say, and I want to hone a little bit on our panel, just because I saw, and I'm actually going to bring this up. So as we talk about this, just to kind of like, because it was so remarkable to see what took place. As we look at this photo here, we've got so many people that came together from even competing brands, whether it was BDC, whether it was paid social, whether it was organic social. Sean Welch, this is the first time April was able to get Sean Welch to come out of retirement and come to this. We've got women from all different sectors coming together to this. Kevin Fry, who does such an incredible job to say, hey, here's a person that is new, or hey, is upcoming, a rising star, and always look to say, how can I bring this person and just put the light on them? I love how Kevin, when he does his presentation, always will say, hey, I'm going to partner with this person. Make sure you go to their session. Does a phenomenal job at that. And of course, we got to have the kicks. So as I specifically put this photo in there, and my good friend Jordan Cox, we finally met at the Kane event and able to actually connect with these people, because too often we see these people and it's just on the digital platform, and we forget that they're actually real people and we're able to see them. So whether, like I said, whether it was a Kate event, whether it was Digital Dealer, and I'm going to get back to the shoe picture in just a second here, but too often that we have these communications, and that we got to remember to continue to work those relationships later on. And Jordan Cox actually took this photo of my shoes, because what I found out that was there's branding, right? There's branding. And there was a photo that was taken at the Kane event where I, for a brief moment, didn't have on my Jordans. And I got called out real quickly, very, very quickly, about not having my Jordans on, and how quickly that community of people stepped in, and in a very fun filled, wait a second, Brooke. I actually was getting Peter Smith circled my shoes and texted me. He's like, wait, I'm a little concerned. Are you okay? Where are your kicks? But it's stuff like that, the bringing people from all different backgrounds. And Stephen Apicella, and at industry events, our leaders learning to, and are just trying to be heard, navigating through lack of alignment, different perspectives, including the customers, and obstacles like fear of change are where the most positive ground can be gained if we are open-minded to it. Yes, the more engaged together to inspire and to be inspired, the better. And Brian is saying here, hey, I know that guy. Oh, I know that guy too. And we've got so glad to be oh yes, Jordan, yes, we're best friends. Jordan saw some side of me that I think other people will never see, and Jordan, we're going to leave it at that what happened is going to stay in Kentucky and will never leave Kentucky. You promised me that one. So, but if you look at all this, and I saw that, as I looked at that and said, oh my gosh, we did this panel and saw that it wasn't just we have so many people from so many backgrounds coming together for a common good, and saw that. And as Fred is saying here, hey, like, this is what I'm talking about. We just have all these amazing people, these, and it's just not just people. We're now friends and saying, how may I help you? And that's what you saw. And as I looked at my table, and Larry, you were at my table, and we saw that it was a dealer. We had someone at our table that was fresh into the industry. And it was just like, hey, I just want to take all of this in. I want to take all of it in and just osmosisly learn it all. We had people that were vendors. We had agencies. We had people in fixed. I mean, you had so many different backgrounds coming together and saying, all right, how can we help? How am I best help everybody? And it was just so incredible to see that. Now, was Digital Dealer different this year? Of course it was. Dave Levin. Yeah, Dave Levin, as many times as Dave and I have spoke and seen each other, to actually be able to meet him. I met him the first time, Dave, at the Kane event, but able to spend some time at Digital Dealer and actually get to know him, his family, and more about him. I mean, those are the things that actually matter. And exactly what George is saying, what happens in Lexington stays in Lexington. And spill the beans. No. That's kind of like the Ben Hadley and the Malibu Ben. That just kind of stays. We don't need to talk about it. Don't need to talk about it. And Allie Peters. And a quick cool story about Allie Peters is that as we're introducing everybody, and Allie, I'm going to embarrass you for a quick second here. As we're introducing everybody, Allie's names get said, and Allie, I'm literally getting chills right now, is that the whole room exploded with just erupting applause when Allie's name got said. Like, how cool is that? Like, talk about champion one another. Yes, is the content great and all of that, but let's talk about, you can take people from different backgrounds that may not necessarily agree on everything, and that's okay. You don't go somewhere and be in a freaking echo chamber. I've done enough shows on that and talked about that you don't need to be in an echo chamber, but you may not agree on everything. And that's okay, because what I may think that works the best might not be what you think the best. So let's talk that through. But when Allie's name was said, man, that entire room freaking went nuts for Allie. And she is incredible. So if you don't know Allie, get to know her. She's incredible. And as Fred is saying here, we are better together. And Jeff, yeah, he pretty much did take a blood oath on that one. It's secrets to the grave on that one. And Dave is saying right here, it was incredible to see this. And apparently I'm now being called the new Malibu Ben. We're going to probably have to get a name for that. That one definitely is going on the After Dark Facts Not Feelings. We're still working on the agreement with Showtime or HBO. We're not sure on that one. So it's one of those. We're still working on that one. And I definitely, yeah. And Enrique, it was so awesome to get to know you and to hear from you and just your perspective. Because whether you're brand new, whether you're an enthusiast, whether you've been in the game for 20, 30, 40 years, every single person has something to offer. So shut your mouth and listen, and listen to what these people have to say. So, all right. So we've talked on that. It was great. It was good to hear from people. I loved how Kevin Fry continues to say, and Kevin and I are very good friends. And so I am obviously, I'll preface that up front, but he always takes the time to say, okay, how can I take the younger generation or the rising stars and help them succeed? Or how can I also, hey, if I speak with someone or I know that they're speaking, go champion them, go to their session. So it's just exactly, in fact, actually after dark. But that's the stuff I'm talking about. Now, as we look at all these amazing industry titans that were there, and they literally did put their egos aside and say, okay, how can we strive towards a common goal and strive towards that, roll the boat in that direction? And that's what you saw happen. Now, as I said, Digital Dealer, it was a little different. It definitely was a little different, a little bit smaller. And what I like to see as well is that I'd like to get any dealers that were there. I'd love to hear your opinion on this, because there was this reverse expo, if you will. I kind of called ours like a speed dating, but there was actually like a speed dating of where dealers could sit down and one-on-one. If you didn't see Steve Ressler's post on this, go check it out. But they could literally sit down on a one-on-one, have a conversation with a vendor, and they'd get a short amount of time and had a conversation with a vendor so they could see, okay, this is what it is. Because too often you go into the expo hall and you're just like, turn my badge around. I don't want anything to do with this. I'm good. But they could actually say, okay, I want to talk to you. Okay, now I want to talk to you. And I heard from a few of my dealer friends with whom I spoke, they said, I actually really like that, because I could have one-on-one time where I could just sit and talk to the person. So I did receive quite a few good feedback positive feedback back about that. So anyone that's watching right now, if you were a part of that, what were your thoughts on that? Did you like it? Would you like to see that moving forward? Of the changes that you saw of this time around, where it was a lot less sessions, so you didn't feel like you were like Solomon's baby and have to cut it in half. You're like, there's 20 speakers all at the same time. I don't even know where to go. And Dave is saying, I was shocked to hear multiple users say they love the speeding. And I feel the same way, Dave. Like, I was a little concerned that it would go the opposite direction, because it was going at the same time at so many so many sessions. But I heard a lot of people say how much they really, really enjoyed that. Or could they just have like a personalized, hey, tell me what you do. I'd love to hear, like, what else? I want to know what you do. So that seemed to went over really well. And I also heard, while we're so used to being like so jam-packed, you got 3 days and you got to just fill it with a bunch of sessions. And that wasn't the case. You had one day, if it was your first time there, you could go the first day. Otherwise, for the rest of us, it was like, oh, we can just show up on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you're good to go. And that last day, it was jam-packed of just incredible sessions. So it was definitely a little bit different on how the sessions were set up, how the schedule was set up. But overall, the feedback I got from a lot of dealers was like, hey, I really liked that. I could do, like I said, speed dating. So it seemed to be a pretty good overall. And like I said, there's just so many there's a lot of conferences going on right now. So if you're not thinking to yourself, wait, how are we going to improve? How are we going to keep people coming back? Are we doing this to help not only the dealers, because if we help the dealers, we're helping the consumers and we're helping the entire process. So always thinking that up front. So the other one that it seems to be that we're hearing, that not seems to be, we're just hearing, I've been to enough conferences to the point that there are a lot, as always, there's the buzzwords, but a lot about AI. And anyone that's out there, you're hearing a lot about AI, a lot about CDPs, a lot about those fun things. So the one thing and anyone that knows me, and if you're new to the show or have heard me speak at all, is I'm going to repeat this over and over and over again. And it is work backwards to work forward. Please, 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 please. Because there's so much information out there, whether that be for the ChatGPTs of the world or the AIs of the world. I literally signed in a day to ChatGPT and something to change. Like it's constantly changing. Microsoft this morning announced that they're opening their platform. So yesterday I was listening to something that the inventor of AI, more or less, that he just was like, hey, AI can, if we don't start thinking about this now, there's a possibility it can kill humans. I mean, he's like, not saying it's going to, but because it can reprogram, and I'm all for AI, I'm all for that, but just slow down and think, okay, how are we going to use this? Gary, I know, Gary, you posted something yesterday about just, once again, look at the privacy behind it. Look at the fine print of it. Jared Kilway, you posted something about AI that I know you and I talk about this all the time. It's phenomenal. It's great, but how are you using it? How are you going to implement it? Knowing what type it is, how it's being integrated, what you own, what you don't own, what is the legal ramifications, what version are you using? All these different things go into it. And then once again, going back to the CDPs of the world or hey, you have all these great ideas coming off of a conference and you're going to quickly go implement them. Okay, that's great. Is this going to enhance your people and process and your products? Or is it just something you saw and you want to hurry and do? So just slow down, look at it, think what it is, whether even all the buzzwords out there. Once again, there's a lot of talk about a lot of different things. That being said, let's think about it to say, okay, is this all inclusive? Is this a Band-Aid to a problem that's been a lifetime problem? And we're not going to really change our process at all. It doesn't really integrate with all of our products. So really, it's just literally a Band-Aid on a bullet hole of the Titanic problem we have. And we're just going to hope that it works. So we got Jordan, I think this is you. I do not know why it's coming up as LinkedIn user, but I think this is you. As Ben Hadley says, AI is the first product I've seen where the whole product is a user experience. And first time in 5 years, most time I've heard AI is now it's actually AI. AI. Dave, I'm going to have to read that one more time. First time in 5 years, most times I hear AI. Now it's actually AI. Okay, gotcha. And you know, Dave, if we go back to the Kane event, which was a phenomenal event and just loved, once again, first time I'd been there and we're here now, that is the overwhelming, I feel like, facts, not feelings, the amount of times you hear AI and CDP, GA4, it's like those three things you're just hearing nonstop. So just breaking it down and understanding, do I need this? Am I covered? Is this just something that's being the red shiny objects of the world? So just slow down and think about it and ask those questions and say, hey, is this going to integrate with everything I need? Is this where we're going? Why are we doing this? Are we going to change our process to make this better? Or once again, are we just slapping a Band-Aid on a magnificent problem that's been going on for 30 years? If that's the case, rewind, work backwards to work forward. So, hey, Shasta, how's it going? Good to see you. So there's just, like I said, there was a lot going on, so many great people coming to the table. And as you go back, and I know when I've done these recaps before, a lot of times I have someone with me, but in this case, I've said this before as well, is we take so many notes, right? And we're like going crazy on those notes. And what usually happens to those notes? They will go in a notebook somewhere, and then like 2 weeks later, you're like, well, where the hell did the notebook go? So whatever those notes are, is that you're write the three things, go back and check those like in a week. Go back and reread and say, okay, what were the things that I really, really wanted to accomplish? And go back and look at those. Put a process in place to those things that you really wanted to accomplish. Otherwise, they're going to go into some pile and you'll never see them again. And I'm as guilty as anyone of that. That's like literally why everyone jokes that I have a Samsung and everyone tells me to get an iPhone. Well, I keep my Samsung because all my notes go in there so I can quickly search to find whatever it is. And then I can upload them to Google Docs or whatever so I can find them real quickly. Because if it goes into a notepad somewhere, and I've had the funness of where I put that in a notebook and that notebook is thrown away. You fill it up and then the notebook is thrown away. So find out and go back and say, okay, I really liked that speaker, that idea, this, and this, and then go back and ask. And because when you go to these events and you meet so many people and those connections, don't just put them in your phone and then forget about them. To continue to work that connection. And when I say work that connection, continue to work that friendship and that relationship. Because now is that you go to the next conference, you're like, wait, you look familiar, but I don't really remember you. And then as you work that relationship, you continue, now you have a friend. You have someone that when you need something, you can reach out to them. It's not just, oh, I saw you at a conference and I'm only going to reach out to you when I want your business or when I need something. Now you have someone that, hey, we have a friendship. We can talk all the time. I mean, as Jordan, Jordan is saying Samsung is greater than iPhone. I do have a Mac, so I really am a split baby on that one. But Jordan and I literally met off of the show, and because of that, the friendship grew. And now we are able to have conversations about whatever. And if we need something, we can reach out as well. Versus, hey, I saw you at something, but I'm only going to reach out when I need something. So I'm going to wrap this up here. It's Friday, and a lot of us are coming off of this conference, and honestly, it's just still trying to decompress from it and maybe just a little bit recover from a digital dealer a little bit here. So I will wrap up with just saying it really does come down to the people. And with all of these conferences going on, remember to always, Brian, exactly. You got a friend of me and literally just had all a Toy Story go through my head. So thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. Is to remember that it is a people business, and it's not just for our customers. It really is for all of us. As I continue to do this and just think, man, that this industry is so incredible. It's incredible because of all of us. It's incredible because of everyone that's commenting right now, because of you. It's because of I have zero voice. Dave, no joke. I really was kind of worried I wouldn't be able to do the show today. It's a little raspy right now. Wasn't really sure that I was going to be able to do the show. So I 100% hear on that one. I was a little worried. There's been like 3 cups of tea with like a half bottle of honey before I came on the show today. So 100% hear you on that one. 100% hear you on that one. But always just, I just caution that as always. I know there's always hey, have a plan going, and yes, have those plans. But remember how incredible our industry is. And it's incredible because of people like all of you that are commenting and those are on the replay watching this. And Dave, I know you say you probably got me sick, but if I put this up here like I just did, Sean Welch may come after all of us. So I'm just saying here, And on that note is that, that whole point is that Sean was there because of the people, that April Simmon, who is a rock star that was able to freaking herd cats to get us all there. And it is that. So with that, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up as my voice is going to go here shortly. I'm sure it is so dry. Like most of us, we're recouping just a little bit here, just a little bit. I was going to say you sound like Miley Cyrus clip. Yes, just about. We're almost at the 1-900 clip, a 1-900 number at this point. The voice is almost there. So almost there is. This industry is awesome, everyone. And I just thank you for being a part of it and for your amazingness. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for all of you. And just continue to do what you do, continue to learn, and to continue to champion one another. And that's how we're able to be where we are, is to continue to lean on each other, be there for one another. And just because we don't always have to, oh, you don't believe what I believe, or you don't believe in this X, Y, and Z. As long as we have an open mind and we're able to freaking listen to one each other and hear each other out, we don't have to agree on everything. As I said a couple shows, well, it was more than a couple shows ago, I was at a conference in Arizona, was the inaugural with Spectrum. It was phenomenal. And literally the buzzword, and Dusty, you're not on the show so Dusty, this is for you, the cold shoulder attribution. And that is 100% for Dusty, is of attribution. And you had an entire room that was split. You had some that believed in it, some that didn't and thought it was crap. And does that mean that we all hate each other? No, it doesn't. That means we can all talk about it. And that is what I'm talking about, is that just let's all come together a little bit here. I mean, just have an open mind. So I'm wrapping up here. I've said like 3 times, but really I'm wrapping up. It's Friday. I'm going to go get some more tea. I'm going to get some more water, and we're gonna get out of here. So everyone, I always end like this. Find a way to serve today. Find a way to help someone today. Find a way to just make a day a little bit easier for somebody out there. It can be a stranger. It can be your friend, a colleague, a family member. Just find a way to make the day a little bit better for somebody else. That's all I'm asking. And with that, everyone, we're going to sign off. We're going to get out of here. and go rest my voice a little bit. All right, everyone. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being awesome. And we'll see everybody next week.